Shane Huffman going for second. He goes up the racetrack. Here comes Gaeta. Contact. Huffman pushes up the racetrack. Gaeta gets in, and he gets across the line first. Joe Gaeta defeats Shane Huffman and Matt Carter in the wildest finish we've seen in more than 3 years of covering this series.
Hooters Pro Cup Series action coming to you tonight from Peach State Speedway, the scene of an exciting finish back in April. Tonight it's the Pep Boys 250 presented by Lucas Oil Products. Hello everybody, we're in Jefferson, Georgia for this 11th round of the Southern Division. I'm Gene Crane, Scott Sutherland alongside. Stephen Cox is on pit road to cover all the action. It's a beautiful August day, and Scott, the weather looks great for tonight's race.
Yeah, it actually feels like a September day. We had a cold front come through here, 85 degrees this afternoon. It took all day to get there, though. Not like it was last week. It was really brutally hot. Going to be a gorgeous night here. The only thing we're facing is a little bit of sunlight coming straight at the drivers. They come down the front straight away, but they deal with us every weekend, and I think they'll handle it again tonight. We're looking forward to a great race.
Shane Huffman set quick time. Stephen Cox is with him.
It's his third Advanced Auto Parts pole of the year against only one win. And Shane, that one came all the way back in the second race of the season at New Smyrna. So you've been quick, but the numbers haven't always backed it up.
Well, we've had several opportunities to win races. We just, like you say, for whatever reason, have let them go. We had an awesome race car last week at Kinley, and we just cut a tire down there on a restart. Got together with Bobby and just, one of those deals. But tonight, I think the Elm Hill Meats Wampler's Farm Sausage Ford is running good, and I think we got our best opportunity of the year to win our second race.
An unusually cool afternoon in northern Georgia. Not much humidity. How's this track going to change throughout the night?
Well, it's been fairly cool all day. The sun's been beating down, but it's going to cool off a little and probably tighten up a little bit after a while. But this place is notorious for eating tires up, so it's not going to change a whole lot.
And this Advanced Auto Parts Pole Award also comes with a $1,000 check, so you love to have that. But you're going to see a lot of adjustments. As he alluded to, it's a little bit rough on tires. You're going to see a lot of adjustments here tonight. What a great facility to come and watch this Hooters Pro Cup race. There's good banking in the corners. Straightaways are nice and wide. There's a lot of room for racing. The asphalt's a little bit wore out, so we're going to wear tires, so it makes for great racing.
And we're going to see multiple grooves up in the corners as well, Scott. That high groove always comes in very well. Final preparations down on the starting grid. Let's head down to Stephen Cox for the command to fire the engines.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
The field coming to life. Jody Lavner after a pair of third-place runs here of recent, and Danny O'Quinn Jr. looking to get his first win in the Southern Division. Already has one in the Northern Division earlier this year.
Well, you're looking at Joe Gaeta sitting inside his race car, but it's not in the 06 because that's where Bobby Gill is here tonight.
Bobby Gill and Mike Laughlin Jr., a brand new race car here this weekend for Mike Laughlin Jr. Don Satterfield coming in off his best run so far in 2004 at Kinley, North Carolina. Scott Baker in the 66 also ready to go into action for the second time here in 2004. Brad Rogers starts 15th. He's the most recent winner in Pro Cup Series action at Kinley. Looking further through the field, final preparations for many drivers. This driver, Vince Fidello, in action in the Northern Division last week at Mansfield Motorsports Speedway. Field finally rolling away here as we get set for the start of tonight's Pep Boys 250.
It's going to be interesting how this unfolds, and we always talk about the fact that these guys qualify with their race setup. And sometimes they're going to race with a qualifying setup, it goes back and forth. Typically, the guys that are qualified in the front are going to stay up front, but at a racetrack that really wears tires, you're going to see some of them fade away. You're going to see some of the guys from the rear kind of move up towards the front because of the fact they're on their race setup that they qualified with. So it's interesting to see how this thing all unfolds as the sun goes down, the tires wear out, and who has the best setup.
Tire management, a major issue here. One would think Bobby Gill would be a favorite, but he has only one trip to victory lane here at Peach State Speedway. Let's take a look at our naturally fresh starting grid for tonight's Pep Boys 250. Starting on the pole, Shane Huffman, car number 84, is setting quick time at a 19:09.1. Alongside is the rookie Matt Carter in car 22. Row number 2 sees Danny O'Quinn Jr. plant the 0-2 on the inside, and the point leader, Clay Rogers, 4th quick on the afternoon qualifying on the outside of row number 2. Brand new look for Bobby Gill. He will be in the 06 car. And what about Billy Bickley Jr., the 25, outside row 3?
Well, all I can say about Billy is going to be tough to win that hard charger award from qualifying all the way up there in 6. Billy
has certainly turned his program around. Scott Baker on the inside of the 66 of row number 4, and Randy Gentry. Good run for the 19 car earlier today. Michael Rich in the 28 starts on the inside of row number 5, and a brand new race car for Michael Offlin Jr. on the outside.
Watch for Michael Rich to move in the top groove and clean that baby off early in the race.
Well, Daniel Johnson has the 16 car alongside Chad Docken. Car number 73 making his first start. Brand new look for Joe Gaeta. He's in the 42 car here this weekend. Alongside him will be Mark Wallace. Good qualifying effort for the 77. Row 8, Brad Rogers, most recent winner here in the Southern Division. He leads the rookie standings in the 29 car. And Mark Nesbitt had his primary car, the Ford, go south earlier today. He's in the Chevrolet. George Brunholz on the 3rd takes car number 20 from the inside of row 9. Jay Fogelman in the 4 car. He's going to join him up on the outside. Next row, Jody Lavender, after a pair of 3rd place runs recently in car number 99. He starts on the inside, and making his first start, rookie Paul Kelly in car 26. Rookie Randy Humphrey, the 93, on the inside of row 11, and Stuart Ricks in car number 70 on the outside, also a rookie. 12th row, Don Satterfield, 10th place run at Kinley 2 weeks ago. The number 1 car starts alongside David Buggy Pletcher in the 51.
And Pletcher's kind of the guy who took over Bigley's role as far as these hard charging things. Watch for him to move up through the field.
Derek Kelly in the 00 back in action. He is joined by Calvin Redwine in the 13th row. Larry Goolsby makes his first start in Pro Cup Series action in car number 33. Mark Whitaker in car number 3 alongside. Next row sees Brandon Collins, car number 43 on the inside, and another rookie alongside him, Bill Mantle, in car 30. Row 16, Vince Finello off of a Northern Division race 1 week ago at Mansfield in car 31, and Free Pennington in car number 10 alongside him. Jimmy Mann Jr. starts the 48 on the inside of row number 17, and Jimmy Knoll Jr., the dirt tracker out of Mississippi, in car 11 on the outside. Michael Burton also making his first start, a team effort along with Goolsby in car 53. And Bud Kinney, no time for Kinney. He will start the event motor problems on the Spa Guy Chevrolet earlier today.
And they're really thrashing to try to get that car out here. Just make a lap and try to pick up some points for being here today.
We're going to take a look at our onboard cameras for tonight's Pep Boys 250. Jay Fogelman. Lucas Oil Ford will carry our first of 3 onboard cameras. Lucas Oil Ford, this is the look through the front windshield, and just an idea of just how much sun will be facing these drivers. Free Pennington, car number 10, also carrying one of our onboard cameras, the American Choice Mortgage Ford. And Daniel Johnson, the naturally fresh onboard camera, starting 11th. Starts right behind Michael Rich in that Jack Bruce Sauce's Pontiac. Those 2 cars have been very strong of late.
And Daniel Johnson's done a fantastic job coming over here driving for Haskell Willingham. Not an easy seat to fill, but I think he's done an outstanding job so far this year.
Certainly has. Field is set and ready for the start. Huffman along with Carter on the outside. Pace car to pit road, coming down for 250 laps of racing action. And Philip Halcomb, your regional manager from Lucas Oil Products, waving the green flag, and on the brake, look at Huffman from the inside. He really gets the advantage. Shane Huffman will lead lap number 1. Danny O'Quinn Jr. from the inside of row number 2. He slips right up into that 2nd spot. Matt Carter able to drop down to 3rd. Front 5 cars right now nose to tail, but behind them a lot of action, Scott.
One of the things I keep thinking about as we left you back in April was Shane Huffman and Matt Carter were involved in that fantastic finish, and here they are right at the front of the field, basically where they left off the last time they were here.
Battle shaping up a little further back in fact, this is the 6th place battle. Randy Gentry, the Harrison Workwear Chevrolet, on the charge of the 19. He's going to challenge that Peerless Woodworking Ford of Billy Bigley Jr. behind them. And there's Kenny coming to pit road. Look at Rich. Rich put a fender to the inside of the 66 of Scott Baker. Moved Baker up the racetrack, and now battle for 4th with Bobby Gill and Clay Rogers. So the action starts early here tonight, Scott.
They are really jockeying for position and are trying to get what we call track position. Get in line where I can make some decent laps. Really pushing the issue. Clayton Rogers wants to get around Bobby Gill. Going to be tough to keep our mind. Bobby Gill in the 06. I got to get used to that.
Bobby Gill with a brand new look here this weekend, taking over the ride formerly held by Joe Gaeta in that 06 machine. Your point leader, Clay Rogers, in second place, Bobby Gill. Here is O'Quinn diving to the inside in turn 4. Huffman gives up the top spot. Danny O'Quinn Jr., the Homesteader Trailer Chevrolet, now your leader in turn 1. Matt Carter, the 22, trailing Brad Rogers in that Miller Lite standings here in the Southern Division. That's a $10,000 bonus at the end of the regular season. Able to step by, and he runs second. O'Quinn's got a pretty good distance that he set out from Matt Carter.
Yeah, his car really took off right from the start of the race. He had a very, very good second lap or third lap. That car really took off, and now that the air pressure's up, this car hasn't even slowed down a bit. It's really headed down the racetrack.
Mike Laughlin Jr., the Tucson Ford, currently a battle for 12th. This car, a brand new race car. They're trying some different geometry here on this Laughlin Racing Products Ford.
Well, I've been watching Michael ever since we dropped the green here. He's trying to run that second groove, and he's really trying to clean that second groove off. Maybe that'll really come into play. You can see him up there, try to get it play in later on this evening as the race develops.
Something that's not all that uncommon here at Peach State Speedway. We see the upper groove coming into play very often when the Pro Cup Series is in action here. Here is Michael Rich and Billy Bigley Jr. doing battle. Rich, a former winner here in Pro Cup Series action. Bigley knows his way around this racetrack as well.
A lot of laps coming in here racing in All Pro, and now in this Hooters Pro Cup race. We've adapted these race cars very well. I got an opportunity to talk to Billy a little bit today. He said the hardest thing he's
trouble.
Oh!
Larry Gouldsby, car number 33 in trouble. Gouldsby making his first start here at the Pro Cup Series out of Williston, Florida. The MyBodyShape.com Chevrolet. If he made contact down there at the end of the wall of pit road, it was ever so slight, Scott.
Yeah, I think he just barely got into the tires that are on the outside of the water barrels. So maybe he can back that thing up and get going again and without hardly any damage.
So Larry Gouldsby gets the car back underway under our first caution. Here's a look at the leaderboard here in the Pep Boys 250 from here at Peach State Speedway. We'll be back with more right after this.
The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters, the cure for the common restaurant. Lucas Oil, the official lubricant of USAR. Miller Lite. Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time. Top your salad with preservative-free, naturally fresh salad dressing. Look for it in your supermarket's produce section.
Welcome back to Jefferson, Georgia. Set to come back to green after our first caution flag of the evening in the Pep Boys 250. Here for the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series Southern Division, Danny O'Quinn Jr. out of Coburn, Virginia, leads him back to the green flag with Matt Carter giving chase down to turn 1. Add Clay Rogers to the mix. Rogers got a pretty quick hot rod that time out of turn 2, closed in on the rear bumper of Matt Carter, but it is O'Quinn with a 2-car length advantage over in turn 3. Let's take a look at our top 10 Tucson leaderboard here with O'Quinn out front. Matt Carter not been able to do much with Danny O'Quinn Jr., but he's got Clay Rogers all over the rear bumper. Rogers in the 44 car, the leader of the point standings coming into this event by 65 markers, trying to step up and get himself an extra 5 bonus points here this evening.
You make a great point. You want to lead at least one lap through somewhere during the course of the race to pick up those 5 extra points. And when you are this late in the season, you're always hunting for a couple extra points here and there.
Rookie leader here in the Southern Division, Brad Rogers, trying to hold off the veteran Mike Laughlin Jr. Laughlin with a transmission problem right at the beginning of practice earlier today. Split the case all the way around on that transmission. They've got a new transmission, had a decent qualifying effort. Laughlin looking to put himself back in victory lane after a long absence here in the Hooters Pro Cup Series. Here's Danny O'Quinn Jr. trying to run off and hide, but is this too much, too early, Scott?
Well, I think the biggest danger right now is the fact that maybe this racetrack's going to change, and that's not going to help him.
Jay Fogelman back in 17th, running alongside with David Buggy Pletcher, the RaceFansDating.com Ford, and let's ride along with Jay Fogelman.
Outside. Still there. Clear up behind the 51.
Man, you can see how brutal that sun is as you come down that front straightaway. They're going to have to deal with that for about another 45 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. You can see turn 1 is in the shadows. Clay Rogers, you can see the piece of tape just below the Hooters. That really helps a driver.
Rogers to the inside of Carter is going to take over second. Clay Rogers knows with only 65 points and still 3 races remaining in the regular season for the Southern Division, he needs every single point he can garner Rogers only a 65-point advantage as we look at the battle for 5th position. On board with Daniel Johnson, the naturally fresh Ford Taurus. Johnson had a good run. In fact, his best run of the year came last race at Kinley, North Carolina in this Ford. Scott Baker trying to close in on the 25 of Billy Bigley Jr. there at the latter portion of the top 10. Baker trying to put the pressure on and look to the inside. Also right there with him is Joe Gaeta in the 42 in the mount that was driven previously to 7 Pro Cup wins in the Northern Division by Brian Ross. Another look back up front, Danny O'Quinn Jr. He is setting sail here this evening. This young man, he liked the taste of victory lane and is looking to make it happen all over again.
Well, the thing is, he's getting an opportunity to lead some laps. And you know what, as a young race car driver, if you're competitive, you lead laps, that sure builds a lot of enthusiasm, especially for your race team. If they can continue to do this all night long and make the right adjustments when they make their pit stops, he's got a very good race car right now, but experience might be the hand that's going to play later on tonight.
Danny O'Quinn, a young race car driver, but a lot of experience represented inside this 02 machine. O'Quinn, even during his rookie season last year here in the Pro Cup Series, was expected to be a contender and a winner during the season. It didn't happen, but it did happen earlier this year at Coburn, Virginia, his home track of Lonesome Pine Raceway. O'Quinn looking for win number 2 here tonight. He's got a long way yet to go, and traffic starting to come into play. Bobby Gill has worked his way around Matt Carter, so the veteran Gill has picked up 3rd spot. Carter back to 4th, and continuing to run in the top 5 is Randy Gentry, that Harrison Workwear Chevrolet of Gentry. He walked by me earlier and said, I'm going to give you something to talk about, and it's going to be all good. Looks like he's holding true to his word.
Well, he lives right up here in Greenville, just up the road, and he loves this racetrack. And whenever you really like a racetrack, you always run better, and that's Randy Gentry. He'll get the job done here tonight.
Well, Danny O'Quinn Jr. getting the job done right now, closing in on some lap traffic. He's got Goolsby and Jimmy Mann Jr. directly ahead. O'Quinn swinging to the outside down in turn number 3. Also in that mix, our buddy Calvin Redwine, the 85 car.
And what you see here typically at these type of racetracks that are so slippery, so hard to get a hold of, the guys that hit the setup are really good. The guys that are a little bit off, they end up being a long ways off. Very difficult place to drive when you don't have a good handling race car.
B.F. Goodrich bringing a medium compound tire for the left sides and a little harder compound tire to go on the right-hand side of these race cars. So we'll see how chassis adjustments and the tire change, a mandatory 2-tire change in Pro Cup Series racing. We'll see how those changes and how the course of the night as the darkness comes over Jefferson, Georgia, and the Peach State Speedway, how it changes the speedway.
And you just saw Danny O'Quinn coming down the front straightaway with his hands on top of the steering wheel, and he's just driving a Cadillac. He's out for a Sunday cruise. Has absolutely no problems right now, but we're going to see how this racetrack changes, as you alluded to.
Scott the Sun is out right now 1 and 2. A little bit shaded. Trouble. The 11 car. 11 car around the 11 out of Mississippi. This is Jimmy Knoll Jr. and his Chevrolet going for a spin. So Jimmy Knoll with the SMI Automotive sponsorship on the hood of the 11 car back underway, but caution out for the second time.
Looks like he may have got a little bit of help. You can see the dent in the left rear quarter panel. But you know what? Turn 4 right now with the sun beating out is giving these guys fits, and it's just really loose, and hopefully that'll change as the sun completely goes down. But it's really tough, and some of these guys are really struggling trying to get off turn 4.
How much will this track tighten up as the sun goes down, Scott?
A bunch. It's going to be a big change when the sun goes down.
Hooter girls out in the grandstand area. Don't go away. We'll be back with more.
Don't forget to sign up for the Team Hooters Challenge. You can win $500.
And earlier today, John Parker signed up for the Team Hooters Challenge. He was selected during pre-race ceremonies. Parker selecting Shane Huffman as his choice to go to victory lane. It could be worth $500 to not only Parker, but Huffman as well. On the restart, once again, Danny O'Quinn Jr., your leader. Previous, he was able to put a little distance between himself and Matt Carter. This time, with Clay Rogers on his rear bumper, Rogers is hanging tough.
Restarts seem to be in a little bit of favor of Clayton Rogers, but after about 5 or 6 laps, Danny O'Quinn's car really good. How about Shane Huffman? Started in the poles, falling all the way back to 8th. Mr. Parker's probably a little bit displeased by the outcome of what's going on right now.
Bobby Gill riding in that 3rd spot. Right behind him is Gentry, who has picked up another position, able to get his way around the 22 of Carter. Carter back to 5th, and he is being challenged by Michael Rich just behind this lead pack. First 6 cars nose to tail right now with O'Quinn showing the way in that Chevrolet.
Yeah, this racetrack is a little bit rough. The shock package is so critical, but the guys, there's a little gray area right down next to that yellow line. The guys that can pick that gray area up are going to be the fastest around this racetrack.
7th place battle as they swing around the 31 of Finello. Mike Laughlin Jr. on the move in the 7 car. He's upstairs like you talked about earlier, just kind of dusting off the outside groove. Caution is out. Scott Baker, car 66, goes around here at turn 4. Baker, who's been to pit road on a previous caution, apparently having some trouble after starting in 7th position. So Baker brings out caution number 3 here this evening in the Pep Boys 250. So Baker ready to rejoin the field. BF Goodrich Challenge, 3 remaining events coming your way. Absolutely free. Check out all the information at bfgoodrichtires.com. The BF Goodrich Challenge and the Pep Boys 250. We'll be back to Jefferson after this. Well, caution has slowed the pace of the Pep Boys 250 presented by Lucas Oil Products here at Peach State Speedway. Set for a restart. Danny O'Quinn Jr. once again, the man on the point. Pace car about to dive to pit road. Clay Rogers, the point leader, lined up directly behind them. To the inside, Vince Finello, lap down in car number 31. Restart, and it is O'Quinn bringing the field up to speed here on the front straightaway. Single file with Bobby Gill running 3rd. 19 car Randy Gentry. First 4 cars clearing the lap car of Finello as they work down the back straightaway. Top 10 look like this with O'Quinn and Rogers your top 2.
Yeah, look at the guys that are they really like their car right now. It's got to be the top 3 or 4. They're really enjoying their race car. Then you look back where Shane Huffman has fallen all the way back to 9th. Billy Bigby back to 10th. They need some adjustment, or maybe they've got a plan as to when the sun goes down, their car's going to come back to them.
Cars do qualify in a race-ready condition at Hooters Pro Cup Series competition. Teams are not allowed to make any changes to the car, with the exception perhaps of a safety issue, and that all is supervised by Pro Cup Series officials. No changes to shocks and springs and gears or adjustments of any sort, just to check the tire pressure and creature comforts added to the cars for the start. So it's a guess, it's a gamble by many of these teams, right, Scott?
Especially at a wore-out racetrack like this, and as the tire wears, it definitely does change. So we're going to see where we end up. Danny O'Quinn really got to like his race car right now.
Riding along with Daniel Johnson in that 7th position. Naturally fresh onboard camera as Johnson follows Michael Rich, and that's a good car to follow. Rich has been on a tear of late. 2nd place run at Kinley for Michael Rich. He's looking to step it up 1 spot. It's been a long time since he's been in victory lane.
Yeah, but I'm really disappointed in Michael Rich, because I talked to him earlier today, and he said, we're going to clear that outside groove out. We're going to go to the front. Well, come on, Michael. Get up there and get after it. We've watched Mike Laughlin Jr. get up there, and he's kind of clearing his own way. Nobody will help Laughlin, but look for Michael Rich to eventually move up there.
In Rich's defense, he did lose an engine during practice and had to change that motor. So far, it's been a tough deal. We look at the BF Goodrich Tires full field rundown here on lap 50. See Gentry and Carter, your 4th and 5th place racers. Keep an eye and look at where your favorite driver is running here tonight in the Pep Boys 250.
Lap car up ahead on the bottom. He's on the top now. Clear high if you need it.
Riding along with Jay Fogelman right on the rear bumper of Buggy Fletcher. Cars really bounce around a lot, don't they, Scott?
Well, from sitting up here, you don't see that movement. When you're inside those race cars, it's a roller coaster ride. Car bounces around. You're on top of these bumps. All you're doing is holding on at this point.
Jay Fogelman trying to pick and choose his way around. Here's a look from the top side. See Vince Finello in the 31 car up on the high side.
You're just trying to tiptoe around the racetrack. You're using a real soft pedal on your right foot. You're just barely getting in the gas and just slide by that guy next to you. Once you get out and open like Jay is now, he can use the whole racetrack and get his car back up to speed.
7th place battle heats up. Mike Laughlin Jr. in the 7 car has used the outside line to step up and challenge Daniel Johnson, the 2001 Miller Lite Rookie of the Year here in the Pro Cup Series, being challenged by Mike Laughlin Jr. Both cars now watch the battle ahead of them. That is for 5th position with Matt Carter and Michael Rich. So heavy traffic for position 5, 6, 7, and 8 as we leave you with more action from here at Peach State Speedway right after this message. We'll be back to the Pep Boys 250 in just a moment. Speed Channel's coverage of the Pep Boys 250 from Jefferson, Georgia, Peach State Speedway. And your leader, Danny O'Quinn Jr. in heavy traffic. Will get by the 10 car. Set his sights on Mark Whitaker in car number 3. Free Pennington out of Augusta, Georgia, making his 3rd start of the Pro Cup Series this season. Keeps his car to the high side. Leader gets by. Now the leader challenges Whitaker down the front straightaway. Whitaker also electing to go to the high side. Looks like it really narrowed up down to turn 1. Clay Rogers also dealing with that traffic. Bill Manful in car number 30 being bypassed by Rogers. The Adkins Realty and Auction Chevrolet going a lap down here early on. On board with Free Pennington, and there is the 44 of Clay Rogers using the outside groove now, Scott.
Well, the thing is the lap cars, Free Pennington dropped down to the bottom, gave the leaders the outside. Good choice. There's a lot of grip down there at the bottom to get your left sides all the way down where they're at right now. But the thing is, they're really doing a great job staying out of the way. Steven, what do you have?
Scott Baker, this has not really been the best of racing seasons for you yet, has it?
Well, not in Hooters, of course. We had a really good car today. The guys did a great job. It just overheated. Nothing we could do. Just ran hot. I don't want to ruin the engine, so our day's done.
Bobby Gill running 3rd by himself right now. He'll swing wide to bypass Free Pennington. Battle for 4th right behind Gill between Gentry and Rich. But Bobby Gill right now, brand new ride. Looks like things have gelled together very well. Get the interval. There is Gill. Michael Rich has made his way around Gentry. So Rich up to 4th. Gentry back to 5th. But right now, everybody pretty much nose to tail, or at least single file.
Well, Michael Rich started 9th, climbed up to 4th position. He's using that high line. Now is Michael Rich getting over towards the front.
Again, Rich with a motor problem earlier today in practice. They changed the motor. But you certainly cannot discount Michael Rich and the 28 machine. Randy Gentry, 90% of all the laps he's attempted here in 2004, he's been able to complete. He's had a strong race car, not necessarily indicated in his finishes, but he's been a contender nearly every time out, and they're hunting for some sponsorship going into this championship series.
That tells you a lot about their crew and their commitment to try to finish these races. That means a lot in the point system.
Matt Carter, the HeavyTruckDealers.com Black's Tire Service Ford, right now outside the top 5. Carter involved in that wild finish early in the season right here at Peach State Speedway. Only car really to come home unscathed of that group. Started from the outside of the front row here this evening in the Pep Boys 250. Your leader continues to be Danny O'Quinn Jr. This young man has had a lot of expectation only to have disappointment. They did indicate earlier a couple of weeks ago that perhaps Home Center Trailers will not be back on the Chevrolet, so they are looking for some opportunity to put their 2005 program together, but there's still a lot of racing here in 2004 to get under control, including those 5 championship races.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to jump off ship just too fast because they are going to be a contender when this season winds up.
Exactly. Bobby Gill looks in that rear view mirror, and he's got company. Here comes Michael Rich of the Jack Crew Sauces Pontiac. Rich using the high line, now Bobby Gill. Oh, trouble. Matt Carter in trouble. 4th caution of the evening, and Matt Carter, it's like some contact with the inside retaining wall. Would believe that is primarily cosmetic, but we'll have to see what happens here. Carter gets the car back underway and does so just before our leader bypasses him, so Carter stays in the lead lap.
Well, he had slipped back to 6th position, and he was racing there with Mike Laughlin Jr., and evidently they were, getting racing pretty hard there. His car is probably not really what he wants right now.
Here's another look out of turn 4. Can't really tell what put Carter around, but nonetheless, he's on the binders. May have made some contact lightly with the right front of the car, but the right rear really took the damage.
Looks like the 7 car just barely caught the back end of the 22 and got him turned around.
So Matt Carter damaged that rear quarter panel. The deck lid is pushed up. How much difference is that going to make? Is this a track where that spoiler really makes a difference, Scott?
Oh, this place is so loose, you've got to have the air on the back of this race car. Steven is down there in the 22 car. What do you got?
Mike Hester and the crew await on pit road for the 22 car of Matt Carter. They just want to check over this, Gene, make sure they don't have any serious damage. They've got some damage on the tail end of the race car. Of course, on a half-mile racetrack where you average over 90 miles an hour, that rear downforce does have an effect. You don't want to lose that. So they've got the tape out. They're going over that. And, of course, Matt Carter had some terribly bad luck last time we raced at this racetrack as well. He led the race all the way through the final corner of the final lap, and he went from first to fourth. And by the way, that fourth place is still his best finish of the year.
So Carter down and away, some of that tape applied, and you're right, Stephen, that was some bad luck, but it was good luck in another sense because that was the only car unscathed in that wild finish here. Here is the black number 7 of Mike Laughlin Jr. down to pit road. Let's head back down to Stephen for this report on the Tucson Ford.
So Mike Laughlin will come down pit row. It's a quick stop. This is a penalty. He'll take a quick chassis adjustment while he's down here, but Mike Laughlin came down for this penalty. It was assessed under a black flag by USAR in recognition of what they saw called a rough driving with the 22 car. Now you guys, I don't know, roll the tape back, Scott, you tell me.
Looks like Mike Laughlin Jr. got into the back of Matt Carter just a little bit, got him loosened up, got him around, so that means he has to go to the back of the longest line for the restart, but yet he can come in and make an adjustment, and where we go, we'll sort it out when we come back.
Speed Channel's coverage of the Pep Boys 250 presented by Lucas Oil Products at Peach State Speedway. Southern Division action for the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series. 13 races making up the Southern Division regular schedule, along with 12 races for the Northern Division. They all come together, 5 championship races for more than $1 million coming up to conclude the 2004 campaign. Set to come back to a green flag, Danny O'Quinn Jr. The O2 machine continues to lead the way as we see green go in the air, and Clay Rogers, the point leader, gives chase down to turn 1.
But turn 1 and 2 is completely in shadow now, so these guys are going to get a good idea what their car is going to do. There's still pretty good sunlight coming off turn 4. We talked about it being loose earlier. These guys are starting to really negotiate that. And what are they going to do when they start making their changes, when they do make their tire stop?
80 laps into the 250 to make up tonight's event. And Scott Bobby Gill starting to flex the muscles in the 06 machine. He had made his way up into the top 5, riding that 3rd position on this restart now. He's got a strong horse using the outside line. We've seen several cars up there, including the car right behind him, Michael Rich. Bobby Gill of the U.S. Sheetrock brand Ford, the 06 machine, 3-time pro. Whoa!
Whoa, 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 whoa!
10 car. Free Pennington goes around. Free Pennington. And that John Daly Enterprises Ford goes around, brings out caution number 5 here on lap number 82. So Free Pennington, America's Choice Mortgage, on the hood of his race car and the quarter panels. They'll get the car rewrited. So Pennington keeps himself from going a 2nd lap down as he gets underway directly in front of the pace car and our leader, Danny O'Quinn Jr. Here's another look at it down into turn 1. Free Pennington up on the high side just gets the car loose, and it swaps in. Fortunately, Scott, he did make contact with the outside concrete.
Yeah, and just as important, no one else was collected in that thing as well. Everybody did a great job watching what they were doing, plus the spotters are on those radios, wowing these guys up.
So everybody gets woed down in time, and you have an opportunity still remaining here in 2004. Check out the schedule for the closest USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series race to come near you. If not, you can see it all right here on Speed. Be sure to stop by your local Hooters restaurant and sign up to register and win a free watercraft. All part of the Liquid Sports promotion only at your local Hooters. We'll be back with more action after this. The Pep Boys 250 from Jefferson, Georgia, Peach State Speedway, USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series action here tonight. And good night to take a little bit of a balloon ride here at dusk. Beautiful weather here at Peach State Speedway for tonight's Pro Cup Series event. Danny O'Quinn Jr. enjoying the weather and enjoying the view out front with the 02 machine, the Home Center trailer Chevrolet. Behind him is the 44 of Clay Rogers.
Yeah, the danger Daniel Quinn and that team is going to go through right now is their car is so good, they are not going to make any adjustments when they come down and get their tires. All the rest of the guys chase them, they're going to be making adjustments. So now what are you going to do? You're caught in a catch-20. You just hope that your car stays as consistent all during the night.
So Clay Rogers on the restart this time is going to try to catch Danny O'Quinn Jr., but he's also got to keep Bobby Gill behind him. Bobby Gill, 37 trips to victory lane in Pro Cup Series competition, most of any driver in the history of the Pro Cup Series. Here's your 88-lap Tucson leaderboard. You see Gill in third, again going to the high side, trying to challenge Rogers a bit in a race for fourth. Here's Gentry. Gentry with a strong race car here on the restart. He's looking to the inside of Michael Rich.
And I think the bottom groove is going to be a really big advantage for the first 4 or 5 laps after each restart. But once you get heat in the tires, I think it gets really slippery down at the bottom, and the outside grooves where they're going to be at.
Front 2 cars use the bottom groove. Clay Rogers trying to creep in and challenge O'Quinn. Here's that battle for 4th position. First side-by-side battle we have behind the leaders. Rich on the high side. Now, he's not abusing his tires near as much using that high side line as Gentry is trying to pinch that car to the bottom.
And the biggest thing is you get such a great run. You're slow through the middle of the corner, but you get a great run coming down the hill, and you pick up a lot of speed, and it really contributes to how fast you're going halfway down the straightaway.
Looks like Bobby Gill now starting to drop back just a little bit. This battle for 4th position. We'll see him directly ahead. And some of the word we're hearing right now is perhaps Bobby Gill may not have a opportunity to communicate to his crew. I understand he is giving hand signals out the door to the crew to let them know what he may want in the race car, but the car nonetheless backing up just a little bit from the front 2. Mark Whitaker, the Universal Dental Chevrolet on pit road. Let's take a ride with Jay Fulgham with the Lucas Oil Ford, currently running 9th on the leaderboard.
You can see just how brutal that sun is as you come up out of turn 4 and you come down that front straightaway. It's getting you right in the eyes. It's really tough to concentrate when you go into one.
Fulgham right behind Mark Nesbitt. Nesbitt in that Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina Coca-Cola Chevrolet. Of course, that is the backup car. We talked about that earlier, having problems in the primary car during practice. And Bobby Gill bottoming out just a little bit there, Scott. Looks like that suspension a little bit on the soft side. Of course, they've still got a pit stop coming up for the second half of this race to be able to adjust on that race car.
Most of the time, when you see the sparks fly out of these race cars now, it's the exhaust or the mufflers that are actually dragging. So they'll grind away, and then pretty soon you won't see any sparks, and the car's back up to speed. But it looks like every time it hits really hard, the car moves a little bit. They'll make a little bit of an adjustment to try to correct that on their pit stop.
Car off the pace. This is Larry Goolsby, the MyBodyShape.com Chevrolet first start for Goolsby, veteran late model driver out of the Central Florida area. So Goolsby headed to pit road. Leader continues to be Danny O'Quinn Jr., the 02. O'Quinn, like many of the other front runners, has yet to come to pit road for service. Some fresh BF Goodrich traction TA radials and a load of Sunoco race fuel. O'Quinn out front, but Clay Rogers has got his hands full. Rogers running second has got Bobby Gill once again on the rear bumper. Both those cars using definitely very different grooves. Rogers all the way on the bottom, Bobby Gill all the way up on the high side. And Michael Rich is also there in the mix, so second, third, and fourth running together. We go back a little deeper in the field. This is the 42. Joe Gaeta, who went to victory lane here back in April, trying to hold off the efforts of Derek Kelly. The Odessa Impact Auto Auction Chevrolet of Kelly putting on a strong run here, started deep in the field, but Derek Kelly putting the pressure on Joe Gaeta this time out of turn 2.
Wow, great run up off turn 2. Get pulled all the way alongside Gaeta. Looks like he's got the line to go into 3, and he does. He drives it through, keeps his left side down. Tires down there on that gray area. Car really turned well.
Derek Kelly started 25th this evening, has made his way up to 12th. Derek Kelly has posted the most ever Hard Charger awards in Pro Cup Series racing with a total of 14 in his career. Looks like he wants to pick up that $500 bonus at the end of the night as well. And if he can keep this forward... Forward progress becomes reverse progress for Bill Manfull. Manfull goes for a slide in the 30 car. Caution out once again. Happening out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Manfull gets the car restarted and underway. This car with some advice from the short track veteran from down in Florida, Jimmy Cope, back underway. So Manfull brings out the caution in the Atkinson Realty and Auction Chevrolet. Caution yet again here this evening at Peach State Speedway. Been a flurry of cautions of late. Manfull off the corner just all by himself. Looks like the car swaps ends.
Well, it got a little bit loose coming off turn 2. That's typical of this type of racetrack. We're almost to 100 laps. These tires are starting to feel a little bit of wear. We're probably going to see some pit stops coming up here.
Well, the 6th caution does bring Derek Kelly and Joe Gaeta down on pit road. We're going to take a break right here. The Pep Boys 250 presented by Lucas Oil Products, and be back to Peach State right after this. The Pep Boys 250 presented by Lucas Oil Products. Southern Division action for the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series this weekend at Peach State Speedway in Jefferson, Georgia. 2.5 weeks from now, Hooters Pro Cup Series competitors make their debut at Bristol Motor Speedway. An exciting event, and Stephen Cox talked with the Vice President.
The first ever trip of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series to the Bristol Motor Speedway coming up very soon. It's a midweek event. Expect a huge crowd and an awful lot of fun. 150 laps of excitement. This is Wayne Estes with the Bristol Motor Speedway Vice President. Tell us what you guys expect and why you brought Hooters there.
Well, certainly the Hooters Pro Cup Series has earned its place on this stage, and then, you know, what a great night it's going to be because it's a doubleheader. You don't get just the Hooters Pro Cup Series, but the NASCAR Craftsman Series as well. So you can see the trucks and the Hooters Pro Cup cars, and it's a $25 ticket. Kids 12 and under are free with ticketed adults. So, you know, we did this show last year with another series, and we drew 40,000 people. So a crowd like that is going to get to see the best doubleheader we think we've ever presented.
Talk a little bit about the newness of this track and just the awesome reputation that this track has for circle track drivers all over America.
You know, we've done a lot of different things up there over the years. We've tried running dirt races up there with dirt late models. We're going to run a late model show on the pavement this year. But this opportunity to run the Hooters Pro Cup Series, especially with all the times that it runs in our area, you know, at Coburn and at South Boston and in the areas of the you know, Tennessee and Virginia, it's just there's so many fans there that now appreciate the Hooters Pro Cup Series almost as much as the trucks. So, you know, once we see the trucks and the Hooters Pro Cup cars, it's going to be a great night.
You know, there's also an opportunity for a fan and maybe one of their Hooters Pro Cup favorite drivers to walk away with $5,000 each. Find out about it at bristolmotorspeedway.com.
The Road to Bristol Challenge final round will be at South Boston Speedway next week with the Northern Division. Final chance for 2 lucky fans to win a pair of tickets each to Bristol Motor Speedway and that August 25th event. Of course, that's going to pair each of those 10 winners from the 4 previous Road to Bristol events together with drivers in the field and a chance at possibly a $5,000 payday for not only that winner, but also the race winner as well.
Well, I live here locally, right here in the Jefferson area. It's only a 3-hour ride up the road here to go to Bristol Speedway. We have to be there to do the TV thing, but you know what? I would be on that bus with all my buddies and pay that $25. That's got to be the best show in the country.
An excellent ticket price as well. Danny O'Quinn Jr. as we take a look at the BF Goodrich Tires full field rundown here on lap 104. O'Quinn setting the pace right now, and a challenge for second for Bobby Gill. Bobby Gill on the outside trying to challenge Clay Rogers for position, and they're side by side down to turn 1. Pretty hefty battle there, Scott.
Yeah, I think it got a great run off the corner. Wow, great run off turn 2. You can see how much speed they pick up when they start coming down that banking, and Bobby Gill has found the groove at the top of the racetrack.
Young man in the 44, a seasoned veteran in the 06, both running side by side, and both have a lot of respect for each other. Right behind them, a pretty good battle as well. Add Randy Gentry and Michael Rich to the mix, so 4 cars in line right here, dicing it up for second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Gentry's car seems to really come alive on all these restarts, and then as the tires get hot, a little bit warm, he just doesn't have the forward bite like he'd like to have, but man, that car's a rocket for 4 or 5 laps.
Randy Gentry, a limited schedule here in 2004. They've been hunting for primary sponsorship on this race car. He'll make enough starts here in 2004 to make it to the championship round of 5 final races. Beside the champion, here's Nesbitt. Martin Nesbitt, good run for Nesbitt. Underpowered in this backup car, but he is challenging Billy Bigley Jr. and able to get by on the inside. Nesbitt, strong run here this weekend. Nesbitt with a good run. Also, Billy Bigley Jr., the Peerless Woodworking Ford, had a good run here back in April. Has had strong runs throughout the year. Showing in the top 10 in points, Billy Bigley Jr., former Hooters Cup late model champion back in 1996. Oh, trouble up in the corner. Mike Laughlin Jr. barely skates by. 7th caution is out. Free Pennington going around again. Ford bringing out another caution here. 7th caution of the night. And what a lucky opportunity for Mike Laughlin Jr. Just enough room between that race car and the outside retaining wall.
Yeah, you can get up there on that outside, and the right side tires have so much heat in it, they'll pick up the marbles, and it'll slam you into the wall, and you really have no control.
Look from the VARefinance.com camera of Free Pennington. Not a fun place to be sitting, is it, Scott?
No, absolutely not. And you're right, Mike Laughlin got that car turned, got back underneath him, but that was going to be a vicious wreck.
Several cars coming down pit road for service, including the pole sitter, Shane Huffman. He looks like he is headed for the pits for tires.
Well, we expect that as well, Gene, and here's why. We've seen a number of cars coming in looking for chassis adjustments, and we'll see if Shane Huffman is going to be one of them. Apparently not. They're going to top him off with fuel and send him back out. Now, this track has been notoriously difficult on tires, but now that we have these BF Goodrich Traction TA radials on here, you see guys pull stuff like this. They'll come out, try to get some more life out of this rubber, and go back out like Shane is doing right now with nothing more than a bit of fuel.
Right front air pressure adjustment and some work on the Carter machine on pit road. We'll be back with more from Peach State.
You're watching the Pep Boys 250. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
The Pep Boys 250 set for a restart here on lap number 116 at Peach State Speedway. Danny O'Quinn Jr., your leader, and Clay Rogers lining up second.
Yeah, your top 5 didn't come in and get any tires, but Mike Laughlin Jr. sure did. He came in, got him 4 tires. Shane Huffman in to make a couple adjustments, but he saved his tires. He wants to make a run at them later on and use those tires to an advantage, try to win this thing.
So Mike Laughlin Jr. sacrificing an opportunity at the Lucas Oil Products halfway bonus award of $1,000. Making the trade for track position perhaps later on in the event. Danny O'Quinn Jr. on the throttle button leads the field down in through turn number 3 here, lap 116, showing on the Tucson leaderboard, showing your top 10. Clay Rogers continues to have a challenge from Bobby Gill of the 06 car. Gentry in 4th, and rounding out your top 5 is Michael Rich. Hard racing down the back straightaway, still a single file effort for the front 4. O'Quinn trying to put $1,000 in his hip pocket here this evening. Shane Huffman already did it earlier in that $1,000 Advanced Auto Parts pole award bonus. Bobby Gill goes upstairs on the high side once again and loses a little ground to Clay Rogers.
Clay Rogers' car hugs that bottom right down on the yellow and that little bitty gray area where his left side tires can get a lot of grip, and his car is extremely fast right through that middle part of the corner. His car's just a little bit free up off, and if they can make that adjustment, he's going to be tough to handle.
Bree Pennington keeps his car all the way to the bottom side. Here's Derek Kelly, who's been on pit road with the 00 for service. Jody Lavender, the 99, directly ahead. 3 wide racing there for just a moment. Back up front, a look at your leader, O'Quinn, across the line. That wide line, wide exit by Michael Rich in the 28 car, right up against that outside retaining wall out of turn 4.
Yeah, and this is the back straightaway. That's going to be pretty much duplicated. You let the car from the bottom come all the way up, but the guys that are running that high line, they got a much straighter angle at the straightaway, and they pick up a lot more speed.
Danny O'Quinn has not put a wheel wrong here this evening. Now, battle starting to shape up. Bobby Gill using the wide line leaves the door open, and Randy Gentry, who's had a strong race car on the bottom, is going to challenge.
Yeah, well, his car's been very good on every restart here tonight, and then it just kind of fades away a little bit, but he's got a great run. Up, he's a little bit off.
Trouble!
Oh.
Stuart Rick's in trouble in the 70 car. Looks like some right front damage on the Bell & Bell Olds GMC Pontiac Grand Prix, and also in it is Chad Docken. The Pinch A Penny Pool Supply 73 also heavily damaged on the right front. And apparently the word we're hearing is that Docken in this 73 car got into the back of Shane Huffman's 84. So Huffman showing a little damage on the rear bumper cover. Bumper pushed in a bit, but Chad Docken, heavy damage to the front of this race car. And Scott, looks like maybe it may have damaged the oil cooler, some fluid beneath the 73 machine of Docken.
There is fluid all over the place, especially coming in on pit road, and that's going to be a heck of a mess. We're going to have to get that cleaned up before we can even let these guys come down pit road, or we're going to have oil all up and down.
Another look at it. Stuart Ricks up into the outside wall down the back straightaway. Pretty quick snap of that car to go up in the outside wall like that, but behind it there is Docken trying to get woed down, and Shane Huffman was there. Docken having to use the rear bumper of the Huffman machine, and heavy damage to Chad Docken's machine. He looks like he is done for the night. So that car on its way behind the wall. Danny O'Quinn Jr. under caution. This caution coming out on lap number 123. O'Quinn's going to stay out front, and he is going to stay in position to pick up that $1,000 from Lucas Oil Products.
It looks like all your leaders are going to be headed to pit road. They want to get tires, but they got to get this little bit of a mess cleaned up on pit road. or otherwise we're going to just ruin our tires when we do get them on. How about that? This guy's had a tough night tonight, hasn't he?
Sure has. Shane Huffman picked up the Advanced Auto Parts Pole Award. Damage to the back of the car and now the left side. Scott, this has got to concern the crew to be able to put fuel in the race car, although they have been to pit road just a few laps ago.
Yeah, they got it topped off, which was a great move, as this outcome has turned this event completely around for them. Now the thing is they've got to get that spoiler up where it's got good clean air to keep that car with a good bit of traction off the corner. Remember, they still have tires in their pits. Will they put them on right here and make their chassis adjustment and their body adjustment? We don't know. But, man, it's just been a tough deal for Shane Huffman here tonight after winning that pole award.
A number of leaders have advanced and dropped down to pit. But Danny O'Quinn Jr., along with Clay Rogers and Randy Gentry, they have elected to stay on the racetrack. So Bobby Gill, Michael Rich, and a few others will have the opportunity to come down and make what we would believe be their only stop of the evening and have track position later in the race. Halfway leader award goes to Danny O'Quinn Jr., led 121 laps here so far this evening. The Pep Boys 250. Pick up that $1,000 bonus. Green is now being shown to open up the pit road. And the leaders coming to pit road, including Daniel Johnson. Good run tonight of the naturally fresh Ford for Johnson. Bobby Gill looking for service for the first time from this crew. Let's go down to pit road and Stephen Cox.
It's a brand new ride for Bobby Gill, and he's making the most of it. Jamie Mosley and the crew go to work. They're going to make a chassis adjustment. Bobby says that it's important to get this car to work coming off the corners, and Bobby, of course, is trying to stay as one of only 3 men to have finished 8 out of the 10 Southern races in the top 10 every time out. Let's take a look at Michael Rich to our deep right here. Michael is really coming on strong lately. He had a second-place finish at Kinley a few weeks ago. He only has 1 other top 5 this year, though, and 5 top 10. So they're going to work on that race car, try to make it handle just a little bit better and get Michael back out as quickly as possible. But these 2 guys are the only 2 in the top 5 that we've seen come in this time around.
Service complete on Michael Rich's car, and that's a good indication. Michael Rich has had strong race cars, but his finishes have not been indicative of the runs he's had throughout the year.
Well, they made a little bit of a chassis adjustment. I saw him take just a little bit of wedge on the thing and maybe a little bit of air pressure adjustment, but you can look for Michael Rich to be just as fast as before he came in.
Don Satterfield showing in the top 5. We'll be right back. During the break, Clay Rogers and his crew talking over strategy. Let's listen in.
All right, you'll be on your toes. Let me know when they're coming. We'll get down there on that bottom. You ain't going to be able to pry me off of it.
Clay Rogers going to hug the bottom groove, make the leaders, and those cars that have come to pit road for fresh BF Goodrich radials use the outside line on the restart. Continues to be Danny O'Quinn, but Clay Rogers, along with Derek Kelly. Kelly came down pit road early. He's had some service on that race car. Kelly could be ready to go to the end, and he's got good track position.
Yeah, but let's give a call to Don Satterfield, and how about Paul Kelly, a local guy from around here in the R&S Trucking Chevrolet. You see him right there in number 26. Great to see a local driver. A lot of crowd here with him tonight. He's up there in that top 5, beating and banging with some of the best in the country.
Paul Kelly in the 26 car, challenge from Bobby Gill, the veteran, to the outside. Kelly got to start as a youngster. Racing RC cars, has really made a name for himself here in the Atlanta area. Got a chance to run here tonight in this Pro Pep Series. Started 20th tonight, log jam down to turn 1. Looks like Vince Finello up on the high side. Matt Carter trying to find some room in the 22 car. That was almost a big incident.
Yeah, everybody got on the brakes real hard, and you know what? Everybody's paying attention. Thank goodness.
Side by side are the contenders for the top spot in rookie honors of this Southern Division. Matt Carter up on the high side. He trails Brad Rogers in that standing, and Brad Rogers tries to make it 3 wide. Bobby Gill, Mike Laughlin Jr., Brad Rogers, add Joe Gaeta, and Don Satterfield to the mix. This is the battle just outside the top 5. Whoa! Mark Whitaker in trouble, and he's still not done. Sliding onto pit road, brings it to a stop.
And Whitaker. The 93 car.
All right, behind him it is Randy Humphrey in trouble as well. Humphrey trying to avoid. Looks like Humphrey able to get that interstate seating Ford back underway. Whitaker in the Universal Dental Chevrolet still trying to get righted and back underway. Whitaker in trouble. Here is the scene. You can see the car bottoms out a little bit. Whitaker apparently needs to check up, and Gaeta has a run coming off the corner. No room left. Whitaker goes for the slide. Heavy traffic behind Whitaker.
Yeah, the thing is, these guys all got new tires, or they have relatively good tires. A couple of them didn't come in on that previous stop, but they're all on pretty good tires. And I'm telling you what, they are coming in a hurry when that happens.
Leader down pit road, along with Clay Rogers. So your top two in for service, along with several others, including Randy Humphrey. Stephen Cox is waiting for your leader.
Scott Eldridge and the crew will go to work on the 0-2 of Danny O'Quinn. Danny loves this race car right now. He does say it's just a touch loose in the corners. They're going to work some air pressure. Now, Scott told me they were thinking about working some wedge on the car as well. I don't see anybody doing that right now. They'll take on right side tires and work the left as well. Take a look just to our right. The 44 car of Clay Rogers also in. Another solid top 5 car. They're taking on 4 tires and making very good time in the pits. Now, these guys were very, very loose coming off the corner. They tried to make a chassis adjustment for Clay as well, and both of them are out in the same order in which they came in.
So your top two getting their service on pit road. The kids having a good time. We'll be back to Peach State Speedway for a restart. The Pep Boys 250 in just a moment. Crowd watching on as we get set for a restart of the Pep Boys 250 presented by Lucas Oil Products. Gene Train along with Scott Sutherland and Stephen Cox bringing you all the action of the Southern Division USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series event. Your next TV date here on Speed Channel, the Sponge Absorbent 250 at South Boston Speedway. Northern Division action on Saturday night, August 14th at 7 p.m. You can see it right here on Speed on Thursday night, August the 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Set for a restart. New leader is Derek Kelly. The 00 came to pit road earlier in the event. Stays out, gains track position, and leads the way. Don Satterfield restarted from second. He's got a challenge from the outside.
And Mike Laughlin Jr. has made his way back to the front, and he does have good tires on, so he's set to go the distance. How about Don Satterfield in that Hawk Sawblade car? He is rocking and rolling tonight, isn't he?
Good run for Don Satterfield. Picked up the Greenville Tech sponsorship a couple of races ago. Bobby Gill also making his way by. Bobby Gill flexing his muscles. Said earlier, Scott, there have been 15 races in the Pro Cup Series here at Peach State Speedway. 11 different winners. Bobby Gill all the way to the bottom side of the racetrack trying to get by Mike Laughlin Jr. To my amazement, this is a track that really demands tire management. Bobby Gill has only been to victory lane here one time.
Well, luck has a lot to do with it. When you come to places like this, it's the being at the right place at the right time. And that's one of those things that Bobby Gill has been bitten by here. Derek Kelly's got a great race car right here. We talked about it before we went to break. His track position has been really good here tonight, and they're doing a good job of keeping the car up underneath him.
3 career wins for Derek Kelly in Pro Cup Series competition, including the closest ever finish by 1/1000th of a second at USA International Speedway. Pretty good battle right here. Matt Carter to the outside. Billy Bigley Jr., the 25 car, using the lower line, getting by, and Joe Gaeta bypassed by Brad Rogers. Rogers in that Kellyco heavy hauling Ford Taurus. And Joe Gaeta, his first ride out in that U.S. Insurance Group Speedco Truck Loops Ford this weekend. Challenge for the lead. Bobby Gill all over the rear bumper of Derek Kelly in the 00. Both cars have been using the lower line. Bobby Gill likely will have to go to the outside to get around Kelly.
And it doesn't seem to be a very big problem because right now with the tires that are good, he points it about where he wants it to go, and that car's hooked up. And it's just a matter of time. I think he's going to get a run.
Kelly protects the inside line. Gill goes high as we take a look at the BF Goodrich Tire lap 150 rundown, full field rundown. Take a look and see where your favorite driver is running here this evening. See George Brunholzel in the 18th position. Number 20 car, the Island Construction Ford. Been an uneventful evening so far for George Brunholzel. And a look at the rest of the running order. Bill Manfull 2 laps down. Free Pennington now 3 laps down. Pretty good battle right up front. Here's Jody Lavender, the H&R Block Ford, trying to hold off Michael Rich. He gave up the spot to the 16 of Daniel Johnson. Add Buggy Pletcher to the mix. Your early leader, Danny O'Quinn Jr. and Jay Foleman, the Lucas Oil Ford, all mixing it up as they head back to turn 1.
This is getting pretty intense right about now. There's cars everywhere, and they're at different speeds. So you really have to be careful how you use the gas pedal because you don't want to get caught out of position And you don't want to run over somebody just because he's a half second slower because they don't have new tires on.
With less than 100 laps remaining in this Pep Boys 250 presented by Lucas Oil Products, you've really got to start to step it up and flex the muscles and see what you've got and test what other drivers have got. Trouble. Randy Humphrey in trouble. Caution number 10. Humphrey here in turn 4 has gone around. Gets the car refired, pushes the tires protecting the end of the pit road barrier just a little bit, but Humphrey back underway. The Anderson aggregates Ford ready to rejoin the field, but Humphrey stuck to the inside as the field passes by. He will go another lap down in that 93 machine. Caution out. 155 circuits have been complete, and Bobby Gill completed the pass and will take over the point here in the Pep Boys 250. Paul Kelly in the 26 machine apparently having an involvement in that issue with Randy Humphrey, receiving a black flag and a tail end of the longest line penalty. We'll be back to Peach State Speedway right after this. Your Lucas Oil recap for this Pep Boys 250 presented by Lucas Oil Products. Lap number 1 on the start. Pole sitter Shane Huffman leads them down. Matt Carter from the outside will drop several spots as Danny O'Quinn Jr. takes the second position on the start. Lap number 5, O'Quinn will work his way to the bottom side and bypass the 84 of Huffman to take over the lead. He will lead to the halfway point. A series of spins brings us to this point. Lap 125. Danny O'Quinn was your halfway leader, picking up the $1,000 from Lucas Oil Products. A little extra bonus for O'Quinn this weekend. Lap 151. O'Quinn is pitted, giving the lead to Derek Kelly, and Derek Kelly challenged by Bobby Gill, and Bobby Gill will go out front and take over the lead of the Pep Boys 250. That is your Lucas Oil recap of this Pep Boys 250 presented by Lucas Oil Products with Bobby Gill, your leader, coming down for a restart once again here at Peach State Speedway. Restart on lap 160. Bobby Gill out front. Randy Gentry down the lap after an earlier stop and go, trying to get his lap back from the leader. Behind them, Derek Kelly in the 00. Here is Gill up off the corner. Look at Brad Rogers. Strong run after a dismal qualifying effort for Brad Rogers. He's challenging for second down in turn number 1. He's going to move Derek Kelly up the racetrack. Gentry. Hang on, Randy. Randy Gentry goes for a slide out of turn 2. Able to put the brakes on and keep him from sliding up in front of the race traffic. Gentry in trouble down the back straightaway.
And they did not throw the caution. He's still moving. They're still green. Go, go, go.
So Gentry back underway, was not able to get his lap back. Bobby Gill back up front. And with a considerable distance over Brad Rogers in the 29 car. So the veteran, 3-time series champion, leading the way, and the current rookie leader in the Southern Division running second. And let's mention that second place car, also the most recent winner in the Pro Cup Series at Kenneally, North Carolina.
And he has a very fast race car right now. They've made the right corrections or adjustments to that race car, but what intrigues me even more is Bobby Gill is down there painting that yellow line, and his car is a rocket. I don't think you're going to see him go to the top unless we have to go around lap traffic from this point out.
Rogers had a strong start to the season earlier on this year. Middle part of the season has really been kind of dismal for him. Turned it all around at Kenneally. Good run going here tonight. Here comes the 7 car. Mike Laughlin Jr.'s got a strong horse right now, challenging for third with Derek Kelly. Laughlin using the outside line once again. And behind him, Billy Bigley Jr. That's not a surprise. Bigley has been in the top 5 quite often at the end of these events. He knows how to run this race car, and Bigley has told me on many occasions he likes the long-distance races. He can't even break a sweat in those 25 and 30-lap races. He wants a long-distance race to use his strategy and his team. Bigley to the inside of Laughlin. Pretty good battle for 4th. He's going to make it a 3-car battle for 3rd with Derek Kelly about to become the meat in the sandwich.
Oh, hang in there. Yeah, he got him.
Bigley to the inside, gets a nose alongside. Runs Kelly up the racetrack, has the door open. Mike Laughlin says, "Thank you very much, Billy. I will follow you through." 3rd place battle down the back straightaway and into turn 3. Meanwhile, Bobby Gill is trying to set sail and run away with this event.
Yeah, Billy's car isn't handled as good as he'd like it to, but he's just driving the wheels off it right now. But what you said is absolutely correct. He loves to have long races. He set his car up to be long greens. If we get a long green right here, it'll be play right into his hand. The one that I'm thinking about right now, though, we're at lap 160 something, and Shane Huffman has not been to pit road for tires yet. if we get a long green here, he may be in some serious trouble.
And I hate to say it, Scott, but I think that was Huffman that may have grazed the outside wall that time out of turn 4. Car that looked very much like the 84 of Shane Huffman. He has been to pit road twice. They've made adjustments, including that air pressure adjustment on the right front tire, but they must come to pit road. Requirements in the Hooters Pro Cup Series require, the rules state, a car must change a minimum of 2 tires during the course of a 250-lap race. Here's a battle right here. Martin Nesbitt, that Chevrolet up on the outside. Jay Fogelman's going to get by and wave from Fogelman, thanking Nesbitt for letting him get on by there without incident. Now Clay Rogers is going to muscle his way around Nesbitt. And 3 wide behind them.
And that is the 84, right in front of Michael Rich. And you can see he's just out of tires. He was just, you know what, they may have waited just a little bit too long here.
Add to it the injuries to the back of the race car. That deck lid damaged by the 73 of Chad Dokken, as Dokken and Huffman tried to avoid Stuart Ricks and the 70 car in an earlier caution this evening. Bobby Gill by himself with the 06 car trying to run away and hide. Bobby Gill's got a race car that is flat hooked up here tonight, Scott.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Joe Gator drove this car to victory the last time this race car was here. And they had a lot of these computer gadgets. They used a lot of things to really help Joe Gator get that car hooked up. What did they use this time when they come in? They brought in Bobby Gill, put him in the seat, and said, what do we need to make this car fast? And they said, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. They said, well, that isn't how we normally make changes. Bobby Gill said, that's how we're going to make changes now. And you know what? You cannot replace experience, especially at a racetrack like Peach State.
Bobby Gill certainly has got the job done. Here's Danny O'Quinn Jr. He was getting the job done earlier in the 02 car. Track position is not playing to his favor as he made a late pit stop for those BF Goodrich Traction TA radials. So trying to work his way up through the field. Here is the battle for third. Mike Laughlin Jr. is going to take it away. Laughlin being challenged by the 51 of David Buggy Pletcher. Pletcher's on a roll. The RaceFansDating.com Ford has had some strong runs, and Pletcher really stretching the legs right now.
Yeah, he just got by Billy Bigley Jr., so he must have an excellent race car at this point in time.
Believe me, with looks for free Pennington's America's Choice Mortgage, Ford Taurus. We'll be back to Peach State right after this.
You're watching the Hooters Pro Cup Series here on Speed.
Well, thank you, girls, and this is the Pep Boys 250 from Jefferson, Georgia, Peach State Speedway. Southern Division action here in the Pro Cup Series with Bobby Gill out front, 37 trips to victory lane. In his career, Bobby Gill leads in nearly every major category of records in the Hooters Pro Cup Series record books. Clay Rogers is the point leader coming to this event. Has struggled of late. We talked to Clay about his difficulties.
We've struggled through the last 2 weeks for sure. We've had a lot of highs this year, and right now we're kind of at the lowest part of the low point, I hope. But we still got a 65-point lead going into the race tonight. Bobby's going to be gelling with his new team over there with the 06 car, and best of luck with those guys. But hopefully there'll be a little bit of time for them to get used to each other, and that'll help us wrap up this South Points deal.
Well, the struggle right now for Clay Rogers is to get around Derek Kelly. They have Mark Wallace, the Jasper engine and transmission Ford, directly ahead. Good qualifying effort earlier today for Wallace. Infrequent schedule for Wallace here at the Pro Cup Series. That ran last time in the Pro Cup Series here back in April.
Well, he talked about struggling, and this is struggling. They're racing for 6th place. Now, when you're used to winning and leading and running in the top 3, when you fall all the way back to 5th or 6th, I guess you're considered it struggling. You're leading the points, you fall back to 5th or 6th, running it on the race, you're struggling. But you know what? This team is very resilient. They have a lot of knowledge behind them. I don't look for them to be running 5th and 6th for very long. You're going to see them back at the front just as soon as they find that little thing they're looking for.
A whole list of drivers out there that like to be struggling in that particular manner. BF Goodrich Tires full field rundown here at lap 200. Bigley showing in the top 5. There's Kelly, Rogers, O'Quinn, Fogelman, and Rich, your top 10. And it appears that Clay Rogers is going to get the best, or at least for the moment, of Derek Kelly. He gets to the inside. Don Satterfield stays at 14th position. Looking back through the running order, 17 cars on the lead lap. Brandon Collins, first of those cars, 1 lap down. That Collins Chevrolet, Brandon Collins doing a pretty good job here this weekend. Bobby Gill trying to put Randy Gentry a 2nd lap down. Gentry spun trying to get himself back to the lead lap out of turn 2. Caution did not come out. Gentry has struggled, and Gill now set to put him a 2nd lap down as they are in heavy traffic. Bobby Gill working around the outside of Finello. The Ohio Valley Manufacturing Chevrolet of Vince Finello going a lap down.
Hey, and give a call to the 26 car, Paul Kelly, the RNS Trucking Chevrolet, just keeping up with Bobby Gill. I think one of the best things that a young driver can do, if they can hook on to a guy like Bobby Gill, even though he's a couple laps down, they can gain a lot of experience by just tagging along and watching their line.
A lot to be learned. In fact, we go back and think of Clay Rogers. How many laps did we see? Whoa, tight action there. Whitaker and now Pennington as Bobby Gill tries to get by Gentry. Gentry up on the high side. Finally, the leader, Bobby Gill, able to get through, but heavy traffic all around your leader, Bobby Gill. An intense time right now for your leader. He's got Lavender in the 99 directly ahead, along with Brunholzl. These are two cars in the lead lap battling for position, and now the leader is right on their rear bumper.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. He has a lot of confidence in that race car to put that in that position and drive through the middle of those race cars. His car is extremely fast, and he's very well under control.
Scott, let's add to the mix. Directly ahead of that battle is your pole sitter, Shane Huffman. Huffman has not changed tires yet. He's still got to get to pit road and make that happen.
You got your front row. You got the 22 and the 84. That's your front row in this field, and he's put a lap on it.
Bobby Gill trying to just shatter the field here this weekend. Brand new ride, first time out. Your pole sitter, oh, it looks like perhaps it was Carter of the 22. Contact with the outside wall out of turn 2. Not enough to really upset the car, but nonetheless, Carter having a struggle there as well. Huffman trying to stay in the lead lap. He's got to get to pit road. Those tires are absolutely worn out. He has gotten everything he can out of them. And Bobby Gill, fresher tires to the inside, about to put him a lap down.
Well, give a call to Shane Huffman. He's doing everything he can. He's using that outside groove to his advantage just to keep the momentum up in his race car.
Clay Rogers has stepped up. He has now found the 25 of Billy Bigley Jr. Here's a battle for 5th position. Bigley in the 25 car keeps the car down as much as he can. Looks like the car just does not want to stay down at the exit of the corner.
Yeah, his car's just a little bit tight. It'll go in, roll, and it'll just slide up just a little bit.
So Clay puts a move to the inside of the 25 car. Still battling alongside in turn 3.
How many times these cats gonna get in the way?
Keep coming, baby, keep coming. Real outside.
Clay Rogers sounds like a little bit of frustration. He's got traffic ahead of them, but all the traffic has to do is give them a lane. It's no pre-described ruling in Hooters Pro Cup Series racing that it has to be the bottom or the top. All that they have to do is hold their lane and give those leaders a little bit of room to race.
Well, the thing is you don't know who you're racing against. You may be a lap down, but there's other guys that are a lap down. You don't know who you're racing against. And that was Bill Boger. That was Clayton Rogers' sponsor telling him just to be cool and take your time.
Rogers takes over 5th position. Pep Boys 250 continues towards conclusion. We'll be back. Bobby Gill in command of the Pep Boys 250 at Peach State Speedway in Jefferson, Georgia. Bobby Gill is now starting to close in and put some cars that were pretty strong early on tonight a lap down, including Martin Nesbitt and Joe Gaeta.
And he's got a lot of cushion behind him, Gene, and what he needs to do is just be a little bit more patient at this point in time. There's a lot of room behind him. He can just be patient and pick his way through this traffic. He really doesn't have to press the issue at all.
Nesbitt and Gaeta going at it for position. They are battling for 12th. Look at your top 10, your Tucson leaderboard here at lap 215. Bobby Gill closes in with the 06 car. Now Joe Gaeta will look to his left and see the car he used to drive. Dive to the inside with Bobby Gill on board. Bill Manville directly ahead of the leader. A little bobble. Gill has to get on the binders and blow up just a little bit. Bobby Gill, this is where it gets pretty precarious for these drivers. And when they slow down, sometimes that's when you get in trouble.
Yeah, they'll get on the brakes. They'll see you coming up and they'll slow down so fast that you can actually run into them just because they're trying to get out of your way. And I've seen that happen time and time again. But Bobby Gill can put his car either on the high or the low. It doesn't make any difference, and that thing is hooked up.
Gill went by Jimmy Knoll in the 11 car, now bypasses Joe Gaeta. So Bobby Gill, pretty good distance between himself right now and the 2nd place car of Brad Rogers. 3rd place is continuing to be David Buggy Pletcher. That team really came out of the box pretty strong, had some struggles from time to time. They really weren't struggles, they just couldn't post the finishes they wanted to have. Of late, they've really had some good runs. Strong run here this weekend as well. Nesbitt trying to hang on to the lead lap. He's going to have Bobby Gill probably challenging in the next lap. depending upon how traffic plays out directly in front.
Well, but Nesbitt did the smart thing. He looks in the mirror, noticed that Bobby's up at the top. He moves up to the top. Said, look, if there's speed up there, I'll go find it as well.
Here is the third place battle. Fletcher's got the spot. Mike Laughlin Jr. in the 7 car is right there. Laughlin trying to put the pressure on. Jody Lavender in the 99 up on the high side. Lavender's had a heck of a weekend. Had a problem in their tow truck. Had to borrow a truck to get to the racetrack. Close call for Mike Laughlin Jr. 77 car Mark Wallace sliding up the racetrack and now gets out of the way as the leaders continue on. Fletcher putting the pressure on Brunholzl, and there is Jimmy Knoll Jr. The 11 car slow and looks like it is headed to the pit area. Keep an eye on that race car to see if he makes it back to the pit area. Knoll trying to nurse it to the end of tonight's Pep Boys 250. Out of turn 2, very slowly down the back straightaway. And he's going to retire. Makes that left-hand turn in the back entrance of the pit area. And that will be a retirement for the 11 of Jimmy Knoll Jr. Daniel Johnson about to go a lap down. The naturally fresh Ford being challenged by Bobby Gill. Johnson also using the higher line right now, trying to hang on to the lead lap. This is a strong race car, and this car has been to victory lane here at Peach State Speedway.
Well, Bobby Gill has put a lot of good race cars down. Here comes another one, Daniel Johnson. But the 84 car, which we knew was struggling because he was on the lack of tires, has gone a lap down. But if he can catch a caution and get those 4 tires that he still has left in his pit area, he still has a chance in this race. I don't think anybody else out here can have anything for Bobby Gill at this point.
And we've seen it done before. We look back at Mario Goslin 1 year ago right here at the Speedway. Made it all happen. Here's Rogers getting by Randy Gentry, and there is a shot. We see the 84 of Shane Huffman still struggling on the tires he started the race with. He has taken and used those tires to their maximum and needs an opportunity to get a change of rubber on that car. Trouble. Whoa. 26 car round. In trouble. Caution is out. 11th caution. Paul Kelly in trouble. Also in trouble is Brandon Collins. Collins Chevrolet Coca-Cola sponsored Chevy underway once again, but Brandon Collins out of Mount Airy, North Carolina, bringing out the caution. So both Kelly and Collins get back underway. Fans giving us a big wave here as we cover all the action at Peach State Speedway here on Speed Channel. Big time here at Peach State Speedway for our Hooters Pro Cup Series action. We'll be back with more right after this. Laps running down at the Pep Boys 250 presented by Lucas Oil Products. Bobby Gill sees a large advantage evaporate after the caution is thrown for the 11th time here this evening in Pro Cup Series action. During the break, a much-needed opportunity to come to pit road and change tires for Shane Huffman. Huffman gets right side tires. The crew comes around, picks up left side tires. But Scott, is this too little too late for Shane Huffman?
Well, yeah, I think it's going to be. I mean, we're going green here, lap 234. It's almost impossible to make up a lap all the way around this place. Even though you might have a super race car, you still can't get there.
Well, Huffman deep in the field on the inside line. Those cars a lap down. On the break, Bobby Gill jumps out front. Brad Rogers in the 29 car right now struggling a bit to clear the lap traffic. Mark Nesbitt, the 92 car, still running pretty strong, trying to hang on and possibly get an opportunity to get that lap back. Fletcher in that 3rd spot, though. Also very strong in the 51 car. Bobby Gill, however, has put about 5 car lengths between himself and 2nd place Brad Rogers.
Jay Fogelman back to 8. Daniel Quinn has gotten to 9th position. He had such a dominant race car earlier tonight. I really thought he'd make his way all the way back to the lead.
O'Quinn has struggled. Mike Laughlin Jr. hanging on a little bit. That car looks a little bit loose. Laughlin using the high line once again in the Tucson Ford. Behind him is the Johnny Suzuki Ford of Clay Rogers, your point leader. Rogers trying to step up and improve his position in the point standings.
Well, I'm going to tell you about that 7 car. That Tucson Ford sometimes get loose because that guy's got a 17-foot underneath on that gas pedal, and when he's ready to go, he goes.
Mike Laughlin Jr., the big man from Simpsonville, South Carolina, has been a long time absent from victory lane, looking to try to make it happen here tonight to debut a brand new race car here this weekend. Only earlier he did change a little bit of suspension design, a little chassis design in there, trying to get the car to work a little bit better. Unique car here at the Hooters Pro Cup Series, manufactured by Laughlin Race Product. Battle for 2nd. Brad Rogers has got a lot of pressure. Buggy Fletcher The 51 car, the racefansdating.com Ford, really pressuring him, and Pletcher able to run to the bottom side of the racetrack.
Yeah, he can move the car down, and it stays there just a little bit better. But how about these rookie drivers? Brad Rogers turned in an excellent run here tonight. Earlier was Matt Carter on the outside pole. He run into a few difficulties, got turned around a little bit. You know what? These guys are in contention week in and week out, and you can look to the future for these guys going to be solid race car drivers.
Hooters Pro Cup Series has been the breeding ground for many young drivers up and coming through the ranks of motorsports, including Brian Vickers, rookie competitor at the Nextel Cup level. On the charge, look at Shane Huff with the 84 car. Fresh tires on this race car, and he is flying through the field.
Well, the thing is, he's going to catch Bobby Gill in a hurry, and Bobby's going to just move over and let him go. But how can he make up a full lap before this race is over?
Inside of 10 laps remaining, and Bobby Gill has a full lap advantage over Shane Huffman. Seems unlikely for Huffman to have anything for the leader. Bobby Gill, however, has nothing to gain by racing Huffman. Needs to just let Shane Huffman get by and get on his way. Bobby Gill on his way, looking to pick up his second win at Peach State Speedway. Only 3 other drivers have had multiple wins here at Peach State Speedway, including Marty Ward, Mario Goslin, and Shane Huffman. 2 wins each for Goslin and Huffman. Ward with 3 wins to his credit. Huffman to the inside. Bobby Gill slides to the high side, does not challenge the 84 car. Knows he is a lap down. Bobby Gill by himself right now. Looks like he is poised to pick up the win. Buggy Pletcher got around the 29 of Rogers. Now Rogers has got to contend with the 7 car of Laughlin.
And Laughlin's car is very, very fast. Yeah, he had to pull it down just a little bit, got a little bit loose, but his car is still fast. I don't know. Shane Huffman's car is really fast. He's back on the lead lap, but that showed you just how good these new tires are.
Brad Rogers trying to hang on to that race car and bring home a good finish. Looks like he is starting to struggle a bit with the handling situation. Clay Rogers now in the top 5. So brothers running 4th and 5th as we get down to the conclusion of the Pep Boys 250 with 5 laps to go for Bobby Gill. Trouble!
Oh,
Michael Rich in trouble.
Well, Michael slapped the wall coming up off turn 2. The car got a little bit loose, got into the wall, hit with the nose, and then Don Satterfield couldn't miss Michael, and then he went to the high side. In other words, his left side door hit the wall and skidded down the outside retaining wall all the way down into turn 3.
Looks like the damage extends all the way to the radiator as fluid leaking out of the front of the Hawk Saw Blade Greenville Tech Chevrolet. So Don Satterfield out of Spartanburg, South Carolina. And yes, indeed, heavy damage to the front end of that car. Radiator is compromised for Satterfield. We were inside, 5 laps to go. Bring this race to a finish here at Peach State Speedway, the Pep Boys 250. Bobby Gill has had command, but now Buggy Pletcher in the 51 car, he's been moving up through the field. He'll line up second for the restart.
Wow, you know what this sets up? This is a single file restart. All the lap cars go to the rear. Where does that put Shane Huffman at with them brand new tires, or those relatively new tires?
Single file restart, lead lap cars in single file ahead of those cars, 1 or more laps down, and we're getting close. It could come down to our green, white, and checker, so a sprint race to decide it here tonight. Under caution. See Mike Laughlin Jr. in that 3rd spot. He's been pretty stout as well. The Rogers boys, 4th and 5th. Looks like Jimmy Knoll able to get the 11 car back underway. And there's Derek Kelly. He apparently got a little bit of the action as well. The right front fender of the 00 pulled out and the headlight door damaged on that race car. Does not look like it is interfering with the right front tire at all, Scott.
Yeah, but I think they're going to come in and they're going to pull that thing apart best they can.
Hey, pick up your copy of Hooters Magazine at your local Hooters restaurant. Coverage of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series, IHRA Drag Racing, and the NGA Hooters Golf Tour, along with many more articles inside your Hooters Magazine. Available only at your local Hooters restaurant. Hooters girls greeting some of the crowd and signing some autographs as we get set for a restart. Green, white, and checker restart. Bobby Gill on the point. Pletcher, the 51 car, lined up second. David Buggy Pletcher, 1 career win to his credit at Chemung, New York 2 years ago. Make it 3 years ago. Pletcher on the restart, cannot keep pace with Gill. Gets a car length and a half down in turn 1.
And Bobby Gill got a great restart that time. Kind of left him out hanging and came straight down the racetrack with a great jump.
So Gill out front, battle for 5th position. Bigley will try to challenge Clay Rogers from the inside. Brad Rogers directly ahead. Bigley cannot make it work, falls back in line behind Clay Rogers. Final lap, Bobby Gill on his final circuit. Can Pletcher catch him? I doubt it. He's got 3 car lengths down to turn 3. Bobby Gill on the bottom of the racetrack, protects the line, brings the car off the corner. Pletcher gives chase, checkers in the air, and Bobby Gill will win the Pep Boys 250. And more action behind Bobby Gill. Here's Randy Gentry getting back underway in the 19 car. A lot of action as they came down for a finish. His 38th career Pro Cup win for Bobby Gill. We'll be back right after this.
The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters, the cure for the common restaurant. Miller Lite. Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time. Lucas Oil Products, a leader in heavy-duty and high-performance lubricants. Jackaroo Meat Sauces, served in America's finest backyards.
Bobby Gill makes his 38th trip to victory lane at Hooters Pro Cup Series action. Stephen Cox on his way to talk to our winner.
If you look up the all-time career win list for the Hooters Pro Cup Series, North, South, or anybody else, this guy's name is at the top, Bobby. There's 38 in the bag now. Does this ever get old?
No, it don't. I tell you, we come out with a new team today, and really feels good. I got to thank USG, Kim Knock Fords, Jamie and his parents and all of them, putting me on board here. We won the race, but the car wasn't really good, but I think we need to go back and work on it now, and the car will be lots better. But those other guys staying out, I think track position helped us out tonight.
I know you talked about making the car work in the center of the corner, and you and I talked about that just before the race started, and really, the ink is barely dry with your name over the driver's seat, and you're already producing a win. What more can you do with the equipment that you have?
Well, I don't know. I didn't have the radios tonight, so I couldn't tell Jamie what I thought about the car and that, so we were doing hand signals, and he kind of got it figured out, but the car's still lacking something. But like I said, track position helped us tonight, and it's a good win for these guys today.
Wow, Scott, imagine what they'd be able to do when they get things figured out.
Man, if that car gets any faster, I don't know what I would do. How about Shane Huffman coming all the way back to 5th? And that's what we were hollering about on that last lap.
Huffman made it exciting at the final stripe here at the Pep Boys 250. Look at the second 10. Randy Gentry coming home 20th. Paul Kelly, 21st finish here this weekend. Michael Rich, 28th finish after that crash late in the event. Good run for second place finisher David Buggy Pletcher. Stephen Cox has caught up with him.
Last time Buggy Pletcher finished this well was in Chemung in 2001 because he started one position behind me. Congratulations. I mean, it's hard to get much closer than this.
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to win, but, to run second to Bob feels great, and we started so far back, and, we're getting better each week, and we got a great team, and I got Jeremy Bowser come on board to help me. He's going to crew chief the car the rest of the year and help me in the shop, and that's what we need, You can help me in the shop, get the car going, get it prepared. This Pletcher racing engine done a great job again for us, like always. And, this Laughlin chassis, I can't say enough about. I've been preaching about all year long. We got 5 top 5s this year, and I ain't had 5 top 5s in my career. So, I want to thank RaceFansData.com and Mike Mulbauer for sticking with me. I mean, I feel like our team's going to be good for the last 5. I know this is just a test run for us until the last 5 comes along.
Pletcher also your hard charger this evening. Another hard charger was Mike Laughlin Jr. Stephen Cox has caught up with our third place finisher.
When you stand in the autograph line for Mike Laughlin, here's what you get. It's got the smiley face on the other side that he is absolutely famous for, or infamous for. Was that the good luck charm tonight, or where did all this come from? Because you started the day and you had good times and bad times throughout the practice.
Well, first off, to start off with practice, we broke a transmission. Hightower does the transmissions, but had to be a part failure. Didn't get much practice. As far as the race goes, I don't know. Car could have been a little bit. We're happy with this, but car need to be a little bit better and a little bit too tight. But I can't thank my guys enough how hard they worked on during practice. I mean, changing the transmission, getting us out there, and just week in, week out, them coming to the track helping us. If we had a real long run, if we could have got a long green run, we had something for them, but we'll take third for now.
I really thought you were going to create a brand new groove way out there, about 10 feet higher than everybody else.
Well, I knew right at the start. I jumped right out there at the beginning. I knew that I needed to save my tires. This place is horrible on tires. I knew the car would run on the bottom also, so when I had to use the bottom, use my tires a little bit, I did. And that's where I ended up at, right at the end of the night trying to run them down, but we run out of laps.
The point battle tightens up to 25 markers for Bobby Gill from Clay Rogers. Brad Rogers comes home 4th and is the rookie of the race.
Rookie of the race, contending for Rookie of the Year, leading the rookie points right now. Brad, hard to do a much better job than what you did tonight.
Yeah, we really had an up and down night, so to say. Started 15th, and car was, I think we must have had a bad set of tires there. Came in, boys had an awesome pit stop, got us out second, and just cruised from there. We didn't have nothing for Bob, but car was pretty good there for a long time after we took tires. So we had fun coming back up through there, of course, but had another good night here with the 4 tires and no scratches, no beat up equipment. So we're all right. We're ready to go to Bristol.
Brad Rogers picks up the $1,000 Miller Lite Rookie of the Race event with his 4th place finish. Our next TV date here on Speed Channel for the Pro Cup Series is from South Boston Speedway, the Sponge Absorbent 250 on Thursday night, August the 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Log on to speedtv.com for all your racing information. I want to thank the folks that make it happen here at the Speedway. Racing Electronics, provider of racing communications. Best Golf Cars, provider of our at-track transportation. Bragg Environmental, the official spill absorbent of the USAR, also helping us out here this weekend. I want to thank Scott Sutherland for all his help. Also, Stephen Cox on pit road. I'm Gene Crane. Rick Benjamin will be back with more Southern action later on. Good night, everybody.